Thank you. Thank you for testimony. And I guess I'll just start there with just a quick question. So, Mr. Kimmelman, you are the CEO of a group called Public Knowledge. Is that correct?
I was at one point, sir.
Okay. What years were you the CEO of Public Knowledge?
2014 to 2019.
Okay. Okay. Let's just take a DeLorean back in time to the COVID era. What do you think it's appropriate for these sort of NGOs or nonprofits to work hand in hand with government agencies to flag misinformation or disinformation or malinformation?
Mr. Chairman, I've worked with NGOs for many, many years, and I think it's appropriate on the left, on the right, for them to present ideas to the government, to the major players in the marketplace about their views. That's what I was involved in.
Well, let me get more specific then. Do you think it's appropriate that the White House was working directly through a number of different agencies to work with the University of Washington and Stanford Information to sort of outsource their censorship enterprise to find out what the posts that they didn't like and then work with and then collude with at least or coerce social media companies to punish those folks?
Well, Senator, I think I've seen the government in many instances work with private contractors.
I'm asking about this instance because it wasn't like a galaxy far, far away. It was like a few years ago.
Yeah,
Do you think that's appropriate?
I'm not familiar with the details of what might or might not happen there.
But what about the scenario I just gave you, though?
Working with a university to
flag misinformation so that the government then can coerce social media companies to throttle.
I never think government should coerce social media companies, so I can't imagine that part of it is.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Davis, your testimony described how in the summer of 2020, Google attempted to demonetize the Federalist following your critiques of violent Black Lives Matter riots. It's documented that the Center for Countering Digital Hate, the CCDH, specifically worked to demonetize the Federalists for these critiques. Could you just describe what tactics specifically were employed to do that?
Yes, sir. Thank you for bringing that up. So I believe it was in July of 2020. We started receiving emails from an NBC News reporter based out of the UK. I don't remember her name exactly. And they were almost taunting, asking for comment. Hey, Federalist, how does it feel knowing Google's is about to demonetize you for hate speech or something like that? I'm paraphrasing. And this was news to us. We hadn't broken any rules. We had gotten no notifications of breaking rules that we had violated Google's terms and conditions or AdSense's or whatever. And so we started calling around to contacts at Google and learned that, oh yeah, you are about to be demonetized because of hate speech. Was what we were told. We had racist, violent hate speech, which was not true at all. And it was the CCDH who was working with this NBC News. I think it was called the Verification Unit at the time. They were working together and colluding with executives at Google. To this day, I don't know who, to come in and secretly demonetize us. And what I found most offensive about it was they were all in on it. They had news articles ready to be written, kind of crowing about how we got demonetized. We were able to fight back. We had a pretty robust response to that, and they ended up relenting. Largely, what was interesting was in that initial news article targeting us, they had cited that news article, how the media are lying to you about literally everything, including the riots. The NBC News ended up stealth editing that out, and they worked with Google to come up with a new rationale for demonetizing us, which was our comments were mean. We had an unmoderated comment section, so we ended up having to delete our comment section to avoid being demonetized by Google because a bunch of foreign connected government outfits decided that they didn't like what we were publishing.
Okay. In limited time, I want to, Mr. Berenson, it's clear now that during the Biden administration, CISA, which is mentioned a lot in this report, obviously, operated kind of a switchboarding mechanism during this period, flagging disfavored content from domestic sources for social media platforms. Based on what you've seen, how is CISA specifically doing this? What was the abuse really all about?
Well, again, I think you laid it out. They redefined infrastructure. So it wasn't actual physical infrastructure or software infrastructure. It was things people were saying. And there was a period very early in 2022 when they actually tried to redefine terrorism as quote unquote misinformation. There's a bulletin from February 2022, which I think DHS put out and then retracted under pressure. So, once you start saying that people's speech is terrorism, you're going down a bad path. And I don't think that's something that either party should do, honestly.
Thanks. Ranking Member Cantwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to yield to my colleague for a second to make a statement, then I'll finish with my questions.
Thank you. I'll